You have been strong for so long that even your own heart forgot how to rest. Maybe you have carried worries in silence. Maybe you have held back tears just to keep the peace. Maybe you have smiled for everyone else while quietly wondering where your own comfort was supposed to come from. To the woman seeking peace, your home is here. Not the kind of home made of walls and doors, but the quiet place your heart has been longing to find. A place where you do not have to explain why you are tired. A place where you do not have to smile before you are ready. A place where the softer parts of you are not judged, rushed, or forgotten. Maybe you have spent years being strong for everyone else. Maybe you have carried worries in silence, held back tears to keep the peace, and given comfort even when your own heart was quietly asking for rest. But today, let this be different. Let these words open like a warm door. You are not too much. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are simply tired from walking so long without a place to lay your heart down. So come in gently. Your peace has not disappeared. Your heart still knows that there was home. There is a kind of tiredness that sleep does not always reach. It is not only in the body. It is not only in the bones. It lives deeper than that. It is the tiredness of a heart that has tried to be calm for everyone else. The tiredness of a woman who has kept going when no one saw how much effort it took. The tiredness of carrying words you never said, tears you never let fall, and feelings you folded away because there was always something else that needed your attention. And if you are here now, listening to these words, maybe some quiet part of you is ready to stop pretending that peace does not matter. Maybe you have told yourself for years, I'm fine. Maybe you have said it so many times that people believed you. Maybe you even tried to believe it yourself. But there is a difference between being fine and being at peace. Being fine can mean you are functioning. You are answering messages. You are making missiles. You are showing up. You are remembering what needs to be done. You are smiling when it is expected. You are holding your life together with quiet discipline. But peace is something softer. Peace is when your heart can breathe. Peace is when you no longer feel the need to brace yourself for the next disappointment. Peace is when your thoughts stop running in circles, asking why certain things happened, why certain people changed, why certain words were never spoken. Peace is when you can sit with yourself without feeling like you must solve every ache before you are allowed to rest. And dear heart, you deserve that kind of peace. Not because you have earned it by suffering, not because you have been perfect, not because you have always known what to do. You deserve peace because you are human, because you have carried enough, and because your heart was never meant to live forever outside the door of its own comfort. For many women, the search for peace begins quietly. It does not always look dramatic. It may look like staring out a window a little longer than usual. It may look like sitting in the car before going inside, needing one more moment alone. It may look like waking in the night with thoughts you cannot explain. It may look like feeling grateful for your life, yet still wondering why your heart feels unsettled. That does not mean you are ungrateful. It means something within you is asking for gentleness. And that request is not wrong. There are seasons when a woman realizes she has become a shelter for so many people, but she does not know where she is supposed to go when she needs shelter too. She has been the calm voice, the patient listener, the forgiving heart, the steady presence. She has known how to make room for everyone else's pain. She has known how to understand, excuse, comfort, and carry. But somewhere along the way, she may have forgotten that she also needs a home. Not only a place to live, a place to rest inside herself, a place where her feelings are welcome, a place where her tears do not have to be hidden, a place where her silence is understood, not misread, a place where she can admit, even softly, I am tired. I need peace. I need something warm and true. So let this be that place for a moment. Let these words be a small room of kindness. Let your heart come in from the cold. You do not have to leave your story at the door. You do not have to tidy up your emotions before you enter. You do not have to become lighter before you are allowed to be held by peace. Come as you are, with the memories, with the questions, with the tenderness, with the tired places no one else has noticed. Come as you are, because home does not ask you to perform before it lets you rest. And maybe that is the first truth your heart needs tonight. Peace begins when you stop treating yourself like someone who must always be strong before she is worthy of comfort. You have been strong. That is true. But strength was never meant to be your only language, yeah? You were also meant to know softness. You were meant to receive care. You were meant to feel safe enough to exhale. Think of all the times you have been gentle with others. You knew how to speak carefully when someone was hurting. You knew how to make someone feel less alone. You knew how to notice the small change in a face, the quiet heaviness in a voice, the unspoken, needy behind ordinary words. You've offered that kind of tenderness so many times. Now, let some of it return to you. Let it come back without guilt. Let it come back without feeling selfish. Let it come back as something natural, like warmth returning to a room after the door has been closed too long. Your heart is not asking for too much. It is asking for a place where it can stop bracing. And yes, perhaps life has taught you to be careful with hope. Perhaps you have trusted before and been disappointed. Perhaps you have opened your heart and later wished you had protected it more. Perhaps you have learned to keep certain feelings private because explaining them felt more painful than carrying them alone. But privacy is not the same as peace. Silence is not always rest. And being needed is not the same as being nourished. You can be surrounded by responsibilities and still feel emotionally homeless. You can be loved in some ways and still aches come to be understood in others. You can have a life full of people and still long for one quiet place where your heart does not have to translate itself. That longing is real. It deserves compassion. You are not weak for wanting peace. You are not dramatic for needing comfort. You are not asking too much when you want your heart to feel safe. You are simply listening to the part of you that has been waiting to come home. And home, in the deepest sense, is not a perfect life. It is not a place where nothing hurts. It is not a promise that every person will finally understand you exactly as you hoped. Home is the place where you are no longer rejected for being tender. Home is where your heart can be honest. Home is where you can say, "This hurt me," without being ashamed. Home is where you can say, "I still need kindness," without feeling childish. Home is where you can lay down the heavy expectation that you must always be the one who understands everyone else first. So breathe for a moment. Let your shoulders soften. Let your heart hear this slowly. You are allowed to seek peace. You are allowed to want a gentler life inside yourself. You are allowed to stop chasing, stop understanding from places that only made you feel smaller. You are allowed to return to the quiet truth that your heart matters. Maybe no one saw the full journey. Maybe no one counted the private sacrifices. Maybe no one understood how many times you chose peace outwardly while feeling stormy inside. But the fact that others missed it does not mean it was meaningless. Your life has so much unseen courage, the courage to begin again after disappointment. The courage to stay kind when bitterness would have been easier. The courage to keep your heart open enough to still be moved by beauty, by music, by memory, by a soft word arriving at the right time, that courage is still with you. But now, it does not have to carry you alone. Peace can carry you too. A gentle peace, a patient peace, a peace that does not rush your healing, a peace that does not demand explanations, a peace that simply opens the door and says, you can rest here, and perhaps that is why this title found you. To the woman seeking peace, your home is here. Here, where your tiredness is not judged. Here, where your longing is not dismissed. Here, where the softest parts you are not treated as a burden. Here, where you can remember that the home you have been searching for may begin within the way you speak to your own heart. So let this be the beginning of coming home, not with pressure, not with a dramatic promise, but with one quiet step toward kindness. You do not have to carry every old ache into tomorrow in the same way. You do not have to keep proving that you are strong enough to live without comfort. You do not have to remain outside your own tenderness, waiting for someone else to unlock the door. The door is already opening, and on the other side, there is no accusation, only warmth, only truth, only the peaceful welcome your heart has needed for so long. Come in gently. Your home is here. There is a special kind of heaviness that comes from being tired in a way others cannot see. People may see you moving through your day. They may see you answering, helping, remembering, preparing, listening, smiling, and doing what needs to be done. They may see the outside of your life and believe you are managing well. But they may not see the quiet why wait your eyes. They may not see the moments when you pause in silence because your heart needs a little more strength before continuing. They may not see the private conversations you have with yourself, the ones where you try to calm your own thoughts, soften your own disappointment, and remind yourself to keep going. They may not know how much effort it has taken for you to remain gentle. And because they do not see it, you may have started to question it too. Maybe you have wondered, why am I still tired? Maybe you have asked yourself, why do small things touch me so deeply now? Maybe you have told yourself, other people have been through worse. I should not feel this way. But dear heart, pain does not become unreal just because someone else's pain also exists. Tiredness does not become invalid because you are still functioning, and your longing for peace does not become selfish just because others have needs too. What you feel is real. The heaviness is real. The quiet sadness is real. The need for a softer place to land is real, and it deserves tenderness. There are women who have spent years being the emotional home for others. They have been the ones people call when life falls apart. They have been the ones who listen without interrupting, who remember details, who sense when something is wrong, who offer comfort before anyone has to ask. And often, these women are deeply loved. But being loved is not always the same as being held. People may love you and still not know how to notice your tiredness. They may appreciate you and still forget to ask what you need. They may depend on your warmth without realizing that the fire keeping everyone else warm also needs tending. So if you have felt unseen in your weariness, let this truth come close. You are not imagining it. There have been seasons when you gave more than you received. There have been moments when you stayed quiet, not because nothing hurt, but because explaining it felt too heavy. There have been days when you chose peace on the outside while carrying unrest within. And that kind of living leaves an imprint on the heart. Not because your heart is weak, because your heart has been faithful for a long time. A faithful heart notices what was missing. It remembers when tenderness was needed and did not come. It remembers when you hoped someone would ask one more question, look a little closer, stay a little longer, speak a little softer. Your heart remembers because it was there. It was there in the years you had to be brave. It was there when you changed in ways no one understood. It was there when you made decisions that cost you more than others knew. It was there when you held yourself together in rooms where you wished you could fall apart safely. And now that same heart is asking for peace. Not drama, not attention, not pity. Peace. The peace of being believed. The peace of not having to prove your exhaustion. The peace of knowing that your feelings do not need to be dramatic before they deserve care. You do not have to reach breaking point to be allowed to rest. You do not have to explain every wound in perfect words before your pain counts. You do not have to convince anyone that you are tired before you are allowed to be gentle with yourself. Your tired heart is valid right now, as it is, before it feels better, before it understands everything, before it knows exactly what it needs next. It is valid because it belongs to you, and you have lived every quiet mile of your own journey. Sometimes a woman seeking peace is not looking for a grand escape. She is not asking life to become perfect. She is not asking for every memory to disappear or every responsibility to vanish. She is asking for a place inside herself where the noise can settle. She is asking for one corner of the day that feels kind. She is asking to stop feeling guilty for needing rest. She is asking to come home to herself without being met by criticism at the door. And if that is what you are asking for, then listen gently. You are allowed. You are allowed to need quiet. You are allowed to need reassurance. You are allowed to need words that do not rush you into being better. You are allowed to need comfort without having to apologize for it. For many years, you may have believed that peace belonged to other people, people whose lives looked simpler, people who had fewer regrets, people who made different choices, people who seemed calmer, clearer, more certain. But peace is not reserved for those who have lived untouched lives. Peace is for the woman who has been through storms and still wants to soften. Peace is for the woman who has made mistakes and still deserves mercy. Peace is for the woman who has cried in silence and still wakes up, hoping the next day may be gentler. Peace is for you too. Not later, when you have finally become everything you think you should be. Now, in this breath, in this moment, in the middle of your real life, let that be a door opening. Not a heavy door you must force with effort, but a warm door that opens because you have finally stopped standing outside your own compassion. Come in, bring the tiredness with you. Bring the questions, bring the memories, bring the tenderness, bring the parts of you that have been waiting so long for kindness. This home within your heart is not only for the polished version of you. It is not only for the days when you feel and grateful and strong. It is also for the days when you feel worn down. It is for the moments when your emotions are close to the surface. It is for the times. It is time to sit quietly and let yourself be human. You do not have to be easy to love every moment in order to deserve love. You do not have to be cheerful every day in order to deserve peace. You do not have to have all the right words in order to be understood by your own heart. Let your heart become a home where every honest feeling can sit down safely. The sadness can sit there without shame. The hope can sit there without fear. The weariness can sit there without being told to hurry away. The gratitude can sit beside the grief because a woman's heart is large enough to hold more than one truth at a time. You can be thankful and tired. You can be strong and tender. You can be healing and still hurt sometimes. You can be seeking peace and still have days when peace feels far away. None of that means you are failing. It means you are alive. And aliveness is not always neat. It does not always move in straight lines. It does not always match the expectations others have placed upon you. Sometimes aliveness means feeling more deeply than you planned to feel. Sometimes it means carried bravely still left certain rooms in your heart needing warmth. So offer warmth there. Offer kindness there. Offer the soft welcome you kept hoping someone else would give. Not because others do not matter, not because connection is unimportant, but because no heart can truly rest while it is being rejected from within. You deserve to be welcomed by yourself. You deserve to hear your own inner voice become gentle. You deserve to stop punishing yourself for being tired. Tired. Imagine for a moment a home at the end of a long road. The light is on. The door is unlocked. There is no one standing there to ask why it took you so long. No one measuring what you should have done different. No one telling you that you are too emotional or too late. There's only warmth. There is only a place to rest. There is only the quiet message. You can come in now. Let that be the way you speak to your own heart. You can come in now. You can stop proving now. You can rest now. The years you spent being strong are honored here. The tears you never explained are honored here. The hopes you kept private are honored here. The weariness that others missed is honored here. And as you let yourself be honored, even quietly, something inside may begin to loosen. Not all at once, not by force, but gently, like hands unclenching after holding too tightly for too long. That is how peace often begins. It begins not by solving everything, but by no longer denying what is true. And the truth is this: your tired heart is valid. Your need for peace is valid. Your desire for a place of emotional rest is valid. You have not been wrong to want gentleness. You have not been foolish to long for a softer way of living within yourself. You have not been selfish to hope that one day your heart would feel at home instead of those of always on guard. That day can begin here with one kind thought, one honest breath, one quiet decision to stop treating your weariness as a weakness. You are not weak. You are a woman who has carried much, and now you are allowed to lay some of it down, not because the world demands less of you, but because your heart deserves more mercy from you. So let this moment be a gentle permission. permission to be tired, permission to be tender, permission to need peace, permission to come home without apology. And when old voices rise, telling you to hurry, to dismiss yourself, to be stronger, to make less space for your own heart, let the deeper truth answer softly. No, I am allowed to rest here. Because you are. You are allowed to rest in the truth that your feelings matter. You are allowed to rest in the comfort of being seen by your own compassion. You are allowed to rest in the home that begins when you stop abandoning yourself. So, come in gently again. This peace is not too far away. This home is not closed to you. Your heart has been waiting with the light on. Hope does not always return loudly. Sometimes it does not come with a sudden answer, a perfect sign, or a dramatic change in your life. Sometimes hope comes quietly, almost like a light left on in a window after a long and weary road. You may not notice it at first. You may only feel a small softening in your chest, a little more room to breathe, a tiny pause between the old worry and the next thought, a gentle feeling that maybe, just maybe, peace is still possible for you. And dear heart, it is. Peace is still possible for you. Peace is still possible for you. Not because your life has been easy, not because every disappointment has disappeared, not because every person who hurt you suddenly understands the depth of what you carried. Peace is still possible because your heart is still here, still beating, still feeling, still reaching for something kind, still willing to listen when tenderness calls your name. That matters more than you know. A heart that still reaches for peace has not given up. A heart that still responds to gentle words has not become cold. A heart that still wants to come home to itself is already moving toward healing, even if the steps are quiet and small. Maybe you thought hope had to feel big to be real. Maybe you thought it had to arrive with certainty and energy and a clear path forward. But the hope meant for a tired heart. Softer than that. It does not demand that you run. It does not ask you to forget. It does not stand over you and say, be better by tomorrow. It simply sits beside you. It says, rest first. It says you are not too late. It says there is still warmth waiting for you. This is the kind of hope that belongs in a peaceful home. Not a restless hope that pulls you away from yourself, but a patient hope that welcomes you back. A hope that understands you have already carried enough pressure. A hope that does not make healing feel like another responsibility on your shoulders. For so long, perhaps, you have known the kind of for others. Hope for the family. Hope for the relationship. Hope for the people you love. Hope for the future. Hope that things will improve. Hope that someone will change. Hope that one day the effort you gave will be noticed and returned. There is beauty in that kind of hope. But today, let hope turn towards you. Let hope become personal. Let it whisper, there is still a life within you that deserves gentleness. You have not only been a helper, a giver, a caretaker, a listener, a strong one, or the person everyone expects to manage. You are also a woman with an inner life, a woman with memories that shaped her, a woman with dreams that may have changed but did not completely disappear, a woman with a heart that still deserves to feel light, safe, and welcomed. And sometimes hope begins when you remember that you are still allowed to have a heart of your own. Not a heart that only exists to comfort others. Not a heart that only matters when it is useful. Not a heart must stay quiet so everyone else can remain comfortable. A living heart, a tender heart, a heart that is allowed to seek peace. And when that truth enters, even softly, it can become a doorway. Maybe you do not know exactly what peace will look like in the next chapter of your life. That is all right. You do not have to know everything today. You do not have to name every step. You do not have to fix every old ache before you are allowed to receive one moment of comfort. You can begin with this breath, this one, the one you are taking now. Let it remind you that you are still here, and being here means possibility remains. Possibility may not look like returning to who you were years ago. It may not look like becoming untouched by sorrow. It may not look like pretending that everything was fine after all. It may look much gentler. It may look like becoming kinder to yourself in the places where you used to be harsh. It may look like allowing quiet mornings to be enough. It may look like letting yourself enjoy a small beauty without guilt. It may look like speaking to your own heart the way you would speak to someone you love. It may look like home, a home inside you where hope does not have to fight to be heard. A home where old grief can sit beside peace without being pushed away. A home where you do not have to choose between being wise and being as tender. A home where your past is honored, but it is not allowed to lock every door, because that is what peace can do. It does not erase everything behind you. It opens space in front of you. It helps you see that one painful chapter does not have the right to define your whole heart. It helps you understand that disappointment may have visited, but it does not have to become the permanent language of your inner life. It helps you feel, little by little, that there is more to you than what hurt you. There is wisdom in you. There is softness in you. There is still beauty in you. There is still a quiet ability to receive good things, even if they come slowly. And if part of you feels unsure, that is welcome too. Hope does not require you to feel certain. Peace does not require you to be fearless. Coming home to yourself does not require you to have no doubts at the door. Bring the doubt in gently. Bring the hesitation. Bring the tender caution. Bring the part of you that wants to believe but is afraid of being disappointed again. All of it can be welcomed here. That is the difference between pressure and peace. Pressure says, you must be ready. Peace says, come as you are. Pressure says, fix this quickly. Peace says, let us sit together for a while. Pressure says, your healing should look a certain way. Peace says, your heart is allowed to move at the pace of trust. And trust, after many years of carrying, may move slowly. That is not failure. That is wisdom. A woman who has lived deeply does not always rush toward every open door. She has learned to listen. She has learned to notice. She has learned that some places promise rest, but bring more noise. She has learned that not every voice deserves entrance into the sacred rooms of her heart. So when peace comes softly, she may wonder if it is real. Let me tell you gently, real peace does not shame you. Real peace does not hurry you. Real peace does not ask you to deny your story. Real peace gives your heart room to breathe, and that is what you are allowed to receive now. Room. Room to be honest, room to be tired, room to hope without pretending, room to rest without guilt, room to let your heart become less of a battlefield and more of a home. A home with windows open to light. A home where the rooms are not perfect, but they are yours. A home where your tenderness is not an intruder. A home where your peace is not treated like a luxury, but like something necessary and holy. Maybe hope finds you first in the simplest moments. A quiet cup in your hands. A favorite song you had forgotten. A small prayer whispered without perfect words. A chair by the window. A memory that hurts less than it used to. A morning when your heart does not feel quite as heavy. Do not dismiss those moments. They may seem small, but small moments can become the path home. A woman's heart is often restored not only by grand changes, but by gentle repetitions of care. One kind thought, one peaceful breath, one boundary that protects her spirit. One evening where she lets herself rest without calling it laziness. One moment of saying, I matter too. That sentence may feel simple, but for a woman who has spent years making room for everyone else, it can be a doorway to freedom. I matter too. My peace matters too. My heart needs a home too. Let those words come close without fear. They are not selfish words. They are honest words. They are words that help you return to balance. Because a life of only giving can leave the soul empty, but a life that includes receiving can teach the heart how to breathe again, and you are allowed to breathe again. You are allowed to want days that feel softer. You are allowed to protect your quiet. You are allowed to stop handing your peace to situations that keep breaking it. You are allowed to choose gentleness, not because you are avoiding life, but because you are honoring the life within you. That is hope, not a fantasy, not a promise that every external thing will become yazizing, but a steady inner assurance that you do not have to keep living as though your own heart is the last place you are allowed to care for. You can care for it now. You can place kindness where criticism used to live. You can place patience where pressure used to sit. You can place truth where confusion once lingered. You can place peace at the center, not as something fragile, but as something you are willing to protect. And when you do that, you begin to feel less lost. Not because every road outside you has become clear, but because you have found a place within you that can hold you. A place that says, you are welcome here. A place that says, your heart can rest. A place that says, there is still hope, and it does not have to be loud to be real. So let hope find you here in the quiet, here in the honesty, here in the gentle turning all back toward yourself. Let it find the woman who has been seeking peace for so long. Let it find the heart that thought it had to stay outside until it was perfectly healed. Let it find the tenderness that has waited patiently in the doorway. And when hope arrives, do not ask it to prove everything at once. Just let it light one room, one small room inside your heart. Let that be enough for today. Because one lit room can change the feeling of an entire home. One kind truth can change the way you walk through an old memory. One peaceful breath can remind you that you are not trapped in the old storm. You are moving slowly and gently toward rest, toward warmth, toward yourself, toward home. And this home is here, not far away, not locked, not reserved for someone more deserving. It is here opening to you with patience. It is here holding space for your tired heart. It is here reminding you that peace can still grow in the life you have now. So let your heart hear it one more time. You are not too late for peace. You are not too tired for hope. You are not too wounded to come home. The light is still on, the door is still open, and your heart is still welcome here. There comes a moment when a tired heart does not need another lesson. It does not need to be told to try harder. It does not need another reason to be brave. It does not need someone to explain why it should have understood everything sooner. Sometimes, after all the carrying, all the waiting, all the quiet hoping, the heart needs only one thing: a place to rest, a place where it is not corrected before it is comforted, a place where it is not rushed into stress. It is not asked to turn every wound into wisdom before it has even been allowed to breathe. And dear heart, this is that place. Your home is here, where your tenderness is not too much, here where your tiredness is not treated like failure, here where your tears, even the ones you never let fall, are welcomed with gentleness instead of judgment. You spend enough time standing outside your own peace. You have wondered whether your feelings were reasonable. You have questioned whether you had the right to be tired. You have tried to make sense of why certain things hurt so deeply when others seem to move on so easily. But your heart was never wrong for wanting safety. Your spirit was never wrong for seeking calm. Your soul was never wrong for longing for a place that felt warm, honest, and kind. There are women who spend years making homes for others, not only with furniture and food and clean rooms, but with patience, forgiveness, listening, remembering, and love. They become the soft place where others bring their troubles. They learn how to make people feel welcome, how to soothe a tense room, how to give comfort even when their own hearts are quietly asking for the same thing. Maybe you have been that woman. Maybe you have made others feel safe while wondering where your own safety was. Maybe you've held other people's pain with care while you're hiding your own behind a calm face. Maybe you have been so busy keeping peace around you that you forgot peace was also supposed to live within you. So let this truth come gently. You are allowed to be the one who receives now. You are allowed to sit down in the warmth you have given so freely. You are allowed to stop measuring your worth by how useful, agreeable, available, or strong you can be. You are allowed to come home, not to a perfect life, not to a flawless version of yourself, not to a place where the past never happened, but to a kinder relationship with your own heart. That is where peace begins to stay. Speaking to yourself like someone who must always do better before she deserves rest. When you stop treating your own needs as interruptions. When you stop believing that love must be earned by disappearing into everyone else's comfort. Peace begins when you say softly and truthfully, I live here too. I live in this heart. I live in this body. I live in this life. And I deserve gentleness here. For so long, perhaps, you have been yourself, visiting yourself only briefly. A small moment in the morning, a quiet thought at night, a pause between duties, a tear swallowed before anyone noticed. But now you are own heart long enough to hear what it has been trying to tell you. Stay with your tenderness long enough to understand that it is not a weakness. Stay with your longing long enough to realize it was always pointing you toward peace, not away from it. Your longing was not foolish. It was a compass. It was the part of you that remembered you were made for more than surviving the day. It remembered that you were made for warmth, for truth, for quiet joy, for meaningful connection, for rest that reaches deeper than the body. It remembered home. And even if you forgot for a while, home did not forget you. That is the gentle mercy of peace. It waits without shaming you. It keeps a light on even when you wander through old worries. It does not stand at the door asking why you took so long. It simply opens. And when you step inside, you do not have to explain every road you took to get here. You can just breathe. You can just be. You can let your heart sit down. Maybe that feels unfamiliar. Maybe rest has sometimes made you uncomfortable because you are used to being needed. Maybe silence has felt uneasy because it gives your thoughts room to speak. Maybe softness has felt risky because life taught you to protect yourself. That is all right. Come home slowly. One is asking you to trust everything at once. No one is asking you to become completely peaceful in a single moment. No one is asking your heart to forget what it learned through pain. Peace can begin gently. It can begin with the way you talk to yourself today. It can begin with one decision, not to shame own tiredness. It can begin with allowing one quiet moment to be enough. It can begin with placing your hand over your heart and remembering, I am not my burdens. I am not only what I have carried. I am still here. And because you are still here, comfort can still reach you. Do not believe the voice that says it is too late to soften. It is not too late to receive kindness. It is not too late to feel more at home within yourself than you have felt in years. Peace does not belong only to the young. Hope does not belong only to those who have not been hurt. Gentle life inside the heart does not expire with age, disappointment, or sorrow. You are still allowed to feel held. You are still allowed to feel understood, right? You are still allowed to discover quiet joy in ordinary days. Your heart is not past the season of blessing. There may still be mornings when the old heaviness returns. There may still be memories that touch you unexpectedly. There may still be moments when you wonder why some things unfolded the way they did. But peace does not mean you never feel sadness. Peace means sadness is no longer left alone in a cold room. Peace means when pain visits, compassion answers the door. Peace means when your heart trembles, you do not scold it for needing steadiness. Peace means you can hold the truth, what happened, without letting it become the whole house. There is room for more here. Room for laughter that returns softly. Room for beauty in small things. Room for prayers without perfect words. Room for friendships that feel gentle. Room for quiet evenings that do not feel empty, but restful. Room for the woman you are still becoming, even now. Yes, even now. You are still becoming, not because you are unfinished in a way that makes you lacking, but because life continues to open new rooms within the heart, rooms where wisdom settles, rooms where old grief becomes less sharp, rooms where love learns to be quieter, deeper, and more honest, rooms where you can sit with yourself and feel less like a stranger. This is the home you were seeking. Not somewhere far away, not hidden behind someone else's approval, not waiting on a perfect apology, a perfect relationship, or a perfect ending. It begins here, the sacred decision to stop abandoning your own heart. It begins here, where you allow yourself to be treated with the tenderness you have always deserved. It begins here, where you finally understand that peace is not something you have to chase until you collapse. Peace can meet you. Peace can welcome you. Peace can become the atmosphere of your inner home. And when you forget, as every human heart sometimes forgets, you can return again. That is what makes home beautiful. You do not have to arrive perfectly. You do not have to stay perfectly. You can wander into worry and come back. You can have a difficult day and come back. You can feel old sorrow and come back. You can need reassurance and come back. The door remains open, the light remains on, the welcome remains true. Your home is here. In the way you choose gentleness over self-blame. In the way you honor your tiredness instead of hiding it. In the way you let your feelings speak without punishing them. In the way you remember that your life is still worthy of warmth. Let this be the blessing that settles over you now. May you stop believing that peace must be earned through endless endurance. May you stop calling your needs a burden. May you stop apologizing for the tenderness that makes your heart beautiful. May you release the old habit of standing outside your own compassion, waiting to become more deserving. You are deserving now, as you are, with your whole story, with everything you have carried, with every quiet hope that still lives inside you. May your heart become a gentle home again. May the rooms within you grow warm with mercy. May the windows open to light. May the old echoes soften. May the doors that once closed against your own tenderness begin to open one by one. And may you feel, even in this moment, that lost you were seeking peace because something wise inside you knew it was possible. You were longing for home because your heart remembered it belonged somewhere safe. And now, let these words bring you full circle. To the woman seeking peace, you do not have to search with aching hands anymore. You do not have to prove that you are tired enough to rest. You do not have to explain the softness of your heart to those who never learned how to hold it. Come in from the long road. Come in from the years of carrying quietly. Come in from the belief that everyone else's comfort must always come before your own. Come in gently. Your chair is waiting. The light is warm. There is room for every honest part of you. Your peace has a place here. Your heart has a place here. You have a place here. And as you move forward from these words, may you carry this truth like a key in your hand. Whenever the world feels too loud, return. Whenever old pain asks for your whole attention, return. Whenever you begin to doubt whether you deserve gentleness, return. whenever you feel like a stranger to yourself, return. Return to the breath. Return to compassion. Return to the quiet room within you where peace still knows your name, because home is not gone. Home is not closed. Home is not waiting for a more perfect version of you. Your home is here. And you are welcome. You are safe to be tender here. You are allowed to rest here. You are understood here. You are held in kindness here. You are home.